Vettel on the left of your screen, Hamilton to the right, and we wait for those lights. It's been the longest season, the closest season. We have 4 contenders. Who will be champion today? As we leave the grid in Abu Dhabi, Vettel moves forward. Alonso comes through. Button's got the jump. Alonso down into 4th. Hamilton goes close, but Vettel still leads. Button goes into 3rd. Alonso is 4th, and Webber is 5th behind him. But a crucial move there for Jenson Button already. McLaren's 1 and 2.
Yeah, Button got away extremely well on the inside, and Vettel had to defend hard against another fast-starting McLaren as they're defending like crazy down into the turn 5. And we've got 2 Mercedes side by side, and they make contact. Michael Schumacher round. Will he?
Oh, the big smash there. It's Lutz. He's gone straight into him as well. That surely will have to be the safety car, won't it? Michael Schumacher's race is over. Lutz here as well. As Vettel, Hamilton and Button Alonso continue. The safety car has indeed been deployed.
Many drivers use the clear helmet visors as they search for the all-important 5 red lights. The race in the desert is underway. Plenty of tyre smoke as they light up the rear tyres. Looks even between Vettel and Hamilton down in the first corner. There's a Ferrari locking up, Massa locking up on the inside, and Alonso goes around the outside of Mark Webber, already gaining a place. There's Nico Rosberg, and we've got Vettel off with a puncture. Sebastian Vettel, punctured right rear, has not even made it down to turn 5. How would he get a puncture so quickly against the curb?
Well, he's just loaded the car as he's gone through turn 2, and it's popped the rear tyre off the rim. We'll get a replay of that, but there clearly wouldn't have been any contact at that stage with any other cars.
He was so far ahead, wasn't he? So
Indeed.
McLaren 1-2 from Alonso, and we very nearly saw the 2 Mercedes.
Yes, absolutely right.
We very nearly saw the 2 Mercedes getting together at the turn 5 hip, and they're now side by side down to turn 9. And look at that, Alonso's gone past Button as well. Alonso then up into 2nd place, and Mercedes still side by side right behind them. Adrian Sutil, tremendous first lap here in Abu Dhabi, and still we've got Alonso and Button in a drag race down to turn 11. Button dips into the slipstream. There's nothing there for him. Mercedes-Benz side by side, and Rosberg comes up, and no respect there at all. And Button then fancies a look. He goes wide now to undercut and try to get on the throttle a bit earlier. He knows he needs to clear that Ferrari immediately. Hamilton's way down the road already. So Jenson then up into 3rd place, or maintains 3rd place, but we expected that to be a Red Bull in front of him and not a Ferrari. So Hamilton leads the Grand Prix comfortably. There is Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button, Mark Webber, Felipe Massa, as they come to complete the end of the first lap. And then
Mark Webber, Fernando Alonso losing a Drivers' Championship here. Sebastian Vettel winning it. Hamilton on pole then. It's lights out, and away we go. It's a decent start from Hamilton. Look at Kimi Raikkonen though, swooping past Maldonado and Webber, and he's into 2nd as they go into turn 1. Maldonado stays ahead of Webber. Button just gets a bit squeezed. There's contact between Senna and Hülkenberg right at the first corner. Lewis Hamilton way out of trouble. Now Jenson Button being pressurised by Fernando Alonso. He's been overtaken by Alonso, and Felipe Massa is all over his rear wing. Nico Rosberg there, and Romain Grosjean is into the chicane they go.
we haven't seen the Red Bull being released yet. It's just coming, I think, up the top of the hill. We got contact obviously down in the first turn. Nico Rosberg got a very poor start, I saw out of the window too. He's running, showing 8th at the moment as they slipstream down the back straight.
And Paul di Resta manages to pass him, under braking, locks up, but completes the move going into that next chicane. Excellent straight line speed from the Ferrari, and Alonso has got past a very slow starting Mark Webber. There's Nico Rosberg with looks like a bit of damage to his front wing, but getting past Sergio Perez as through the chicane they go.
Yeah, Rosberg then left side of his front wing, as you say, damaged, but that was a bold move from Alonso, and his eyes must have been on stalks because there was a very good chance as we see Romain Grosjean.
He's got massive problems, hasn't he?
First corner contact again, and first lap contact anyway, but Alonso must have thought, oh, please do not let me run into the side of that Williams of Maldonado. But crucially, into 4th place already then. Vettel showing 20 seconds.
Not when you've only got a 300-metre run. Down to the first turn. It's time for the lights. All 5 of them here in Abu Dhabi. It's lights out, and away we go, and it looks like Hamilton gets a decent start from behind behind Mark Webber and Sebastian Vettel. It's Red Bull going into the first turn. It's Vettel ahead of Nico Rosberg, and then Mark Webber, and then Romain Grosjean gets a good start. Felipe Massa goes wide at the first turn of the Ferrari, and there's Sergio Perez, I should say, running wheel to wheel with Massa as he comes back onto the track once again. On board now with Lewis Hamilton behind Romain Grosjean, looking to squeeze through. Oh, it's a bad start for Hamilton. He's got passed by Romain Grosjean in the first few corners. It's Sebastian Vettel who leads then from Nico Rosberg, and round the outside Fernando Alonso is challenging Sergio Perez and overtaking Sergio Perez in the McLaren.
Alonso's back on form from his starts,
and Raikkonen's out at the first corner, or going into turn 2. Kimi Raikkonen from the back of the grid is out of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, last year's winner. Didn't even make it to the second turn, as there Lewis Hamilton's teammate Nico Rosberg scrapping away with Mark Webber, and there Fernando Alonso putting all sorts of pressure on Massa.
Damage front wing.
So there was contact further down the field, and it happened for Jenson Button. There's Hulkenberg, and there's Hamilton going into the chicane just in front of Hamilton, but he goes too deep, Hulkenberg, and Hamilton retakes the place back.
Yeah, good wheel-to-wheel action at the front, and then Fernando Alonso didn't make it past his teammate, but he's in a hurry, that's for sure, on this first lap. And now Perez is shaping up for a look at the back of Fernando Alonso, but there's a couple of sweeping right-handers will put pay to that.
So, Charles Pic and Kimi Raikkonen, there was the clash. Kimi Raikkonen coming off worse and out of this race. Jenson Button has front wing damage as well, but for Sebastian Vettel, it's another glorious first lap for him, isn't it? Mark Webber losing places once again from pole position. Sebastian Vettel leads over the line.
Bernardo's taken his grid spot. I don't think he should have done that.
On the left-hand side is pole position. That's Nico Rosberg. Right-hand side, it's Hamilton. It's lights out, and away we go, and Hamilton makes a great start from second place, and he's way ahead of Nico Rosberg into the first turn. Rosberg under pressure, but he stays ahead of the Williams. Jenson Button gets himself up in the fourth place as Maldonado goes wide at the back, but what a brilliant start for Lewis Hamilton, and the crowd, and so many British fans here cheering him away.
Well, he didn't like his practice start on the formation lap, but that was a mighty getaway, wasn't it? And the second phase too, he just took off as Rosberg bogged down and just didn't get off the line. Somebody scampering across the runoff area there.
Sergio Perez, and round he goes. He actually made up a place or two, I think, there. And there's contact right at the rear of the field behind Nico Hulkenberg, Kevin Magnussen and Adrian Sutil coming together as they make the long charge now down the kilometre-long straight. It's Hamilton who leads into the first chicane from Rosberg, and then comes Massa and Button and Raikkonen and Alonso, and behind we look here for Kevin Magnussen under pressure and swamped by the Sauber of Esteban Gutierrez. Jean-Eric Verne moves past him as well, past Maldonado and Adrian Sutil having their own private little battle, but out in front Hamilton continues to streak away from the field as some lock up their brakes, and down the inside goes Danny Kvyat on Valtteri Bottas, who's lost places at the start from 3rd down to 8th as we ride on board.
Yes, terrible start for Bottas. Just didn't get it together at all. And bad news for Magnussen as well, because he was the front runner on those soft tyres, and now he's no longer in that position. That could cost him dearly. Massa then with a tremendous start. Button very comfortably there in 4th place. Surely we're going to see this man on the grid in Formula 1 next year.
He is making a habit.
Right front suspension.
He's making a habit of top 4 finishes.
And a broken hearts I heard when they found out you were married, Crofty. Race time.
Let's have some sound of V6 engines then. And for the final time in 2015, it's lights out and away we go, and away goes Nico Rosberg, and Lewis Hamilton has to fend off Sergio Perez, and Perez loses out to Kimi Raikkonen going into the first turn, and Hulkenberg has got a great start past the 2 Red Bulls, and there is a Lotus and a McLaren going out at the first corner. Onwards we go then, and a brilliant start there for Nico Rosberg. Also looking to see Carlos Sainz threading his way through the field as well. There's Danny Kvyat and Carlos Sainz going in side by side into the chicane. Who comes out on top there? Kvyat has to go wide. Sainz forces him off the track. Then the Williams there gets a bit of a lock up. Felipe Massa and Max Verstappen right in the pack as Valtteri Bottas loses places as well. Now onto the straight, 2 abreast, Massa and Kvyat, and there's Max Verstappen coming at them as well, as out in front it's Nico Rosberg from Lewis Hamilton, from Kimi Raikkonen, Sergio Perez and Nico Hulkenberg, and now into the braking zone. Sparks everywhere, cars everywhere. Kvyat goes in on Massa. Sainz holds them both off behind. Fernando Alonso loses out. It was Jenson
Button, who had problems then at the first turn, and Button finding himself a little bit down, now in 12th place.
Yes, but Vettel then already up to 11th place by turn 9.
Sebastian Vettel making the start that he wanted, and look, there he is, side by side with Valtteri Bottas, as off the track goes Max Verstappen. Now the stewards might have a little look on that. I know it's the first lap, but they're going to be quite tough on exceeding track limits, as Fiat goes banging wheels there with the Toro Rosso, and nipping through goes Valtteri Bottas with Vettel right on the Toro Rosso's heels.
Oh, and contact there. Vettel made contact with the back of Verstappen's car. I think it was tyre face to tyre face, though.
It certainly looked like it, and there was a massive lock-up. There goes Jenson Button in 12th place, and right at the back, Pastor Maldonado is the one that is out of this track. First man to retire, and a 9th retirement of this season for the Lotus driver. 1.4 seconds out in front. Rosberg leads Hamilton, leads Raikkonen, Perez and Hülkenberg. What a great first lap. Bring on the next 54. Longest season on record in the Formula One World Championship, and we are ready for the title decider, the season finale. It's lights out, and away we go. Both Rosberg and Hamilton get away well, as does Kimi Raikkonen as well, and Raikkonen takes 3rd place. Hamilton goes into the first turn in the lead from Rosberg and Raikkonen, and then comes Daniel Ricciardo. Verstappen has spun. Verstappen spun, and Alonso's picked up places behind Sergio Perez. Dreadful start for Max Verstappen. There's a Sauber right at the back, going off battling with Kevin Magnussen. But it is Lewis Hamilton from Nico Rosberg, from Kimi Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel as they head down into the hairpin. Jolyon Palmer and Esteban Gutierrez. Great move from Palmer on Gutierrez, and there's Jenson Button getting involved as well, as around the outside of all of that comes Danny Kvyat, and along the back straight Hamilton sweeps away and into the lead.
No DRS, of course, for the first 2 laps. We don't know if Verstappen got a tag or whether it's just those super soft tyres not warming up as quickly as he would like, as we see 2 Force Indias side by side.
Sergio Perez on Nico Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg fights back. Hülkenberg in his 78th and final race for the team manages to hold on there to 6th place, but Perez is coming back at him as well, and now pulls out to the right hand side as Hamilton leads Rosberg, leads Raikkonen, leads Ricciardo, leads Vettel, and then comes Nico Hülkenberg locking up but staying ahead of Perez. Another lock up for Jolyon Palmer. He's done ever so well on this first lap. He's down in 12th place at the moment.
Yes, Alonso 8th from McLaren, Button, as you say, fighting with Palmer over 12th place there, and the 2 Williams also nose to tail. What an action-packed first lap.
Yeah, let's have 54 more laps of this, ladies and gentlemen. It's absolutely epic. Hamilton, though, has done what he needed to do. He's out in the lead. But Rosberg has done exactly what he needed to do as well, and is settling into 2nd place as the 2 Williams continue to scrap it out. Felipe Massa ahead of Valtteri Bottas, and what's the lead as they cross the line for the first lap? 0.6 of a second. Right, all lined up on the grid, and we can get going. 55 laps to come of the 9th ever Formula One World Championship, Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go. Hamilton seemed to get a good start. Bottas just ahead of him. Kimi Raikkonen holding off Max Verstappen as Bottas goes into turn 1. Vettel locks up, but keeps hold of 3rd place. And Daniel Ricciardo is pressuring him. Nico Hülkenberg has all sorts of pressure from Sergio Perez behind him as they all swoop through turns 2 and 3. There's Felipe Massa, who's been stopped caught at the start by Fernando Alonso, and spinning out there is the Haas. And that is a bad move from Kevin Magnussen. Right now down to the back. Bottas leads, so into the hairpin. A challenge on for Kimi Raikkonen, and Max Verstappen just losing out there. Magnussen, the big spinner. Bottas this time, Martin, leads them away.
No drag reduction system. The DRS, of course, for the first 2 laps. But look at this. Ricciardo coming under a lot of pressure from Raikkonen. The extra power of the Ferrari side by side for Renault and Force India. It's all kicking off back there.
Esteban Ocon, that's a great move down the inside into the chicane. And that's one of the Toro Rossos. Looks like Brendan Hartley going straight on at that very chicane. Wheel to wheel now. Kimi Raikkonen and Daniel Ricciardo. Raikkonen and Ricciardo and Raikkonen going into that left-hander, and the Red Bull up into 4th place.
You'll need to get up very early in the morning to think about out-braking Daniel Ricciardo when when he doesn't want to lose a place.
Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel, Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Verstappen, the top six. Then comes Nico Hülkenberg, Sergio Perez, Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso still in the points, with Felipe Massa all over the back of him in his final race. As underneath the bridge, through the hotel they come. The two Mercedes already starting to pull away, and by some margin as well. We look now at Max Verstappen, been struggling, he says, with understeer all weekend long, taking the final corner, and as he does that, Bottas crosses the line 1.2 seconds ahead from his teammate Lewis Hamilton.
You can see the extended yellow line to the left, so the drivers can see exactly where they're parking.
Green light then waved at the back of the grid one more time in 2018. It's lights out and away we go, and it's a good start from Hamilton and from Bottas, and Sebastian Vettel trying to catch the Mercedes. Behind there comes the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo, just behind Kimi Raikkonen and Max Verstappen. I don't think it's on the best start out there. Going wide is Romain Grosjean through turn one. He's lost places to the Force India of Ocon and Nico Hülkenberg, and there's Max Verstappen right behind the Force India. What happened to him off the line, Martin Brundle?
Indeed, and I think Fernando Alonso had an appalling first corner for good measure. Got ran out wide and has fallen back down through the field, just watching his start. 4 abreast on the way in to the turn 7 hairpin, and then they've got the very long first straight. Verstappen is down in 10th place as Lewis Hamilton leads the pack down the back straight. There's the Toro Rosso of Brendan Hartley behind the McLaren. There is Charles Leclerc going wheel to wheel with Daniel Ricciardo into the chicane. Ricciardo breaks latest and makes the corner, but Leclerc really fancied with some top speed down there and move, and that is the Renault of Hülkenberg going over and over and over and out of this race. And that is Nico Hülkenberg against the barrier. Flames coming from the back of that Red Bull, taking a tumble and being punted off the track, and that is a worrying accident to see at the start of this race. He should be absolutely fine. There's no gravel trap there for anything to dig into, and as long as they can put the flame out.
Are you okay, Nico?
I'm hanging here like a cow.
Yeah.
Get me out of this fire.
Yeah.
There's fire.
It's alright, they're coming. They're coming.
It's been a thoroughly enjoyable season. I hope you've enjoyed it along with us. And for one last time, it's lights out and away we go. Lewis Hamilton gets away well. Max Verstappen slips in behind him. Charles Leclerc ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Alex Albon has the McLaren of Lando Norris for company, but as they all go through the top 10 unscathed, going wheel to wheel, the McLaren of Sainz with Nico Hülkenberg as well. I think Lance Stroll down at the back went off at the first turn, and the 2 racing points back on the track as well. In towards the hairpin we go now, as all the cars concertina up. On the inside is Kevin Magnussen getting ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Hamilton comes out of the hairpin ahead of Verstappen and the 2 Ferraris, and there's contact at the back as they come through the hairpin.
Yeah, there was contact as well on the outside of turn 1. I believe there's a racing point involved. And look at Leclerc breezing past the Red Bull.
That wasn't expected there. Charles Leclerc ahead of Max Verstappen, and there looking up is Antonio Giovinazzi. Valtteri Bottas has made up places as well, already up in the 16th from the back of the grid. You can see the Mercedes coming through ahead of Danny Kvyat, who's got Romain Grosjean giving him an awful lot to worry about. Verstappen now has been overtaken by Vettel, but he's trying to fight back, keeps ahead of him as Albon locks up ahead of Carlos Sainz, who's ahead of his teammate Lando Norris. And Norris gets past Sainz and gets a tap for his troubles as well as he squeezes past the Spaniard. Sebastian Vettel all over the back of Max Verstappen.
Verstappen really seems extra slow, isn't it? I don't know whether it's the Ferrari's particularly quick, but there's no doubt about it. Leclerc is definitely keeping an eye on Hamilton. There'll be a bit of tyre management going on in the early phases of this Grand Prix, but Ferrari looking particularly racy.
Once again, I don't think the Red Bull lighting up its tyres the way it wants to when it starts on that medium compound. Hamilton crosses the line and he is 1.6 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc.
Relative movement that matters.
He's pointing slightly to try and cover off Valtteri Bottas. As we have 5 lights for the final time ahead of the drivers, it's lights out and away we go. Verstappen ahead of Bottas. Norris getting a good start, but behind Lewis Hamilton. Sainz and Albon neck and neck going into the first corner. Verstappen leads from Bottas, who once again gets all squirrely out of the first corner. Bottas ahead of his teammate Lewis Hamilton. There's Norris, Albon, Sainz, and then Danny Kvyat. Charles Leclerc ahead of Sebastian Vettel. The 2 Ferraris running close as well. Into the first real big braking zone we go. Verstappen heads them. Alex Albon on the soft compound tyres, trying to get at Lando Norris. Around the hairpin we go. Max Verstappen has aced the start as down the inside goes the Renault of Daniel Ricciardo on the Ferrari at the hairpin, and he's got himself ahead of Sebastian Vettel.
We have 20 cars remaining in this race, and once again, for the third consecutive weekend, Valtteri Bottas struggling on initial application out of the first corner or two, but now he steadied the ship and he heads off down towards turn 11, and very much then still in play with Max Verstappen and ahead of his teammate Hamilton.
Ricciardo towards the rear then, ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Charles Leclerc is under pressure there from Kimi Raikkonen. Ferrari against former Ferrari driver behind Raikkonen. Giovinazzi's under pressure from George Russell. Under braking we go. They managed to hold that order and stay away from each other as well. But Charles Leclerc passed by his teammate under a lot of pressure in these opening stages.
Leclerc a day late and a dollar short on the brakes there, but he got away with it. He scooped it up. And it's not been a great start for him, has it? Dropping it down to 12th place and 13th, in fact, I think is probably going to be behind his teammate Vettel. But look at this, a nice lead then for Max Verstappen.
Max Verstappen, who'd never led a lap here at Yas Marina before, rounds the final corner and makes his way past the start-finish line to now have led a lap here in the Yas Marina Circuit. 1.4 seconds clear of Valtteri Bottas.